This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.
We are back with our empath, our psychic, our friend, Stacy Mongar, joining us live today here on the podcast. And yeah, if someone's out there stalking her, trying to block her, not going to work. We're here. We're listening. People, we hear her. She looks beautiful today, and you can't stop a woman who is raring to go. So hi, Stacy.
Hi, how are you?
Good, sweetheart. I had to say it. Sorry. So I know you wanted to discuss that a little bit too. So please say hello. What do you want to share to get us started today?
Well, hello out there to everybody. Yes, and it's out there for people who I want to talk about, the gang stalking, and it is out there with people like myself who are, depending on what vehicle they use, whether they're psychic mediums, whether they're using some sort of, tarot, upright tarot, and other forms of spirituality they're using. But if you're exposing things, if you're bringing truth to light, you'll have things happening. And if you're brought here, if you, like myself, have a combination of family that's no longer your family, that you have no contact with because you've had to cut contact off with them, and finding out that they may not be related to you, and money issues, and also crimes being committed, and not being told who you are. So a combination of all the above. And but yes, I was busy out there this last weekend. As everybody knows, my passion for music, which, from a very young age, I can remember being, and also depending on what place since we traveled and moved every year, well, every 3 to 6 months to every year, we would move, and associating songs and music with that. So that was always interesting, but my passion for that. So I was out doing my filming, putting the music out there, putting people who have been out there for a while to newer music and to that sort of thing. Just putting the venue, the musician, and live music. Sometimes I do DJs and other than that are really good. But I was trying to out there, and my camera, as we know, my phone, and filming and doing anything like this it's not because it's my phone, it's because I'm having people interfere. I'm having people try to hack in, and I've tried to limit that. I've tried to avoid that, but there are a variety of ways they can get in. And this last time around, I was filming, and of course, obviously, I'm not going to say where at. And this group is a lot of fun, and they know me. If they don't know me now, they're getting to know me doing this. They also know I'm a psychic medium. And I was trying to film, and somebody just went off the deep end on me and said something about flash, something about my phone, and don't put that in there. They literally knocked the phone almost out of my hand to where it would have dropped on the floor, and that I probably would have been damaged. And I caught it, and it caught me off guard that they would even be saying that. If there were issue, they needed to let me know. And I still don't know exactly, but I figured I was getting messed because this has happened before. And, where it's come out, I know that a variety, they be meaningless, but really, they're trying to do what they call humiliation rituals, which it didn't work. I didn't respond to it. It caught me off guard, but I'm not going to respond to it. I just gathered my phone. I looked at these people and went about my business and filming, and wasn't doing anything wrong, but they're trying to discourage you, and not only discourage you because you're exposing them, but as you know, I expose all sorts, cults, covens, secret societies that are not in the upright, Illuminati, whatever, the list goes on. Yes, I do expose them. And yes, people want to discard that, but please, no. Too many people out there, and which I'm glad, that are putting emphasis on this. And I was hearing the other day with all of the Epstein files being, exposed, and it's about time. How many decades worth have we had there? But there was a famous model, I believe in the 90s, Karen, is it Mulder? And I don't know if I'm saying the correct name, but Mulder, I know exactly. And she was the first to come forward, and she paid for it dearly. What did they do? They labeled her crazy. She was admitted into a psych ward. And she was out there with Versace, you name it, Gucci, all of those. She was very big. And before you know it, you don't see anything of her, and her career got destroyed, and all in the event of exposing people early on. Now, if they would have listened, if they would have heeded, and of course, so much works here, so many people not wanting it to come out. And this is what you do to people that are, and we're setting aside actually people that are mentally ill, and actually the people coming after you usually are the ones projecting, that have their own mental health issues, but they're projecting everything onto you. And I don't know, that's been going on my entire life. And when you come into alignment with who you are, and if you're in touch and in tune with being gifted, with being psychic, with your intuition, you'll know they're projecting. And but you just get sometimes tired of it, and it's like, okay, I know what you're doing, but it's not going to work. I'm gonna regroup. I'm going to do what I need to do. And sometimes it's not worth addressing, but I pick and choose. It's not that I'm not keenly aware of what's going on. It's just that and then continue on. The worst thing you can do is to continue on carrying on, exposing and maintaining your truth and maintaining your authenticity. And when too many people come forward, and that's the whole beauty of this, is that you have to have people that are willing to stand up and do the right thing. You have to have, no more divide and conquer. And that is, another technique that's used. You have to be able to come forward, and you cannot silence everybody, but people need to be aware of this. And in a bigger sort of picture, major overall theme to this is that, this goes deeper, and there's a lot more to this story. And you cannot let people shake your trust and your foundation on this. And they'll do little things to, like I said, I've had people follow me at places I go, literally followed me came up to where I was at. And I'm looking at him going, he goes, well, I was watching you outside. I'm going, thanks. Appreciate that one. And I said, I don't appreciate it. And, you need to leave here. But I proceeded to get a license plate. I proceeded just to calmly. And some of that is to literally, if you can, and it's very hard to, any one of us, when you're in the midst of all of this and things are really happening, it's very, can be very difficult to pull your energy back. Not allow them to ruffle your feathers, not allow them to destroy you. That is what they're trying to do. They're trying to interrupt your peace. And they're trying to, oh, she's crazy. And yeah, that's the card they go with. The go-to is to attack your mental health and saying you're crazy. I'm going, yeah, that won't be the first time, but you're crazy until you're right, sort of thing. They know you're onto them, and what else do they have to use? And then character assassination, and to go after that. And it's like, no, the people that are crazy are the people that are going after you, that they know they've been caught. And then they know that they're being exposed. And I say, well, it's about time. Decades and decades worth of it. It's about time. And it's about time that people step up to the plate. And everybody's so concerned about the world we're living in, and that's a large part of it. And I realize there's a price to be paid, and especially when you're standing alone in it. And I know this because I've been alone. I've had a few people there, and as I've been told, people that are secretly, they've been out there taking care of things, and they've been trying to help me, but they've had to be on the outskirts. They've had to be covertly helping me, and also, what I rely upon is that inner guidance and that inner faith of knowing that you just have to keep going, that there is a end game to this, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's about time. It's about time, I say. It's more than about time. But we have to have people that are not afraid. But if you combine, there is the truth that there is power in numbers. And they know that. And if you separate people, if you label people certain things like they're crazy, they're horrible, and say out and out lies about them, and do it enough, and what we call word magic, and that is a thing, and destroy somebody's character and who they are, then yes. But if you have a lot of people out there speaking this truth, and they have the facts to back it up, they also, others are out there speaking this, that's, a little hard to shut us all down. It's, the little things. And I'm caught off guard, and I'm looking at them going, no, somebody thought that they were really rude. I had heard somebody say, well, that's kind of rude what you did. And it's like, no, because I'm out there doing my thing. I'm out there. Yes, I am saying who I am as a psychic, but my passion for music, and I always say my passion for music, but my other passion is who I am, which is a psychic medium. And but music has always been my thing, and I try to help putting it out there, and the people that are doing the right thing out there, and musicians and the venues, and and sometimes unbeknownst or known to me, sometimes some of that isn't quite kosher either. And I know this, I'm aware of this. As we know, the whole music industry, period, as we've been finding out, is laden with a lot of things that are corruption and everything that's going on. But I try to look at the things that are not, the people that are very talented out there, and that are just wanting to create music, and kind of, pureness of it, the authenticity of the music that they create, that makes people feel great and collectively come together for a much, better purpose. And so that is my bit. When people are trying to, and I had it happen, a couple of weeks back again, we call it street theater, basically. They're trying to get you to put you in a different light, for people to see you in a different light, to, shut you down, to get you to give up. And it's like, God, if this was done to you and, others, you wouldn't have lasted a couple of days, you wouldn't even last a week. For me, this has been going on years and years. I mean, literally a decade, beyond a decade or past, that things have been going on. I just didn't realize exactly what was going on, and I didn't realize exactly what I was exposing, and that I'd really all this time been discovering and a connecting the dots all together of who is involved and the magnitude and the depth. I did have somebody that was and I always need to bring up the three-letter word, CIA, X, and then this was ex-CIA. people that I was speaking with that said, do you really want to go down this? Because this is a rabbit hole. And it's a rabbit hole. And they were right. I was trying to initially and I knew I had gifts before this, but I was initially trying to help some children that were being abused. And I was trying to expose that. And what I exposed was something very much deeper, much bigger than I realized. And it went from there. And I have paid for it dearly. I just didn't realize some of the people closest to me, were connected, and some of this due to money, bottom line, greed. And to me, all of this is just sheer evil, greed at its finest. And, once again, people want a better world here. You need some integrity, and it seems to be short in supply. Integrity, people willing to do the right thing. And yes, I know what we do is we isolate those people. We try to destroy them, try to prevent them from bringing out the truth. But once again, this has a ripple effect. And, they're not going to have a world to come after the people that are doing things that they should not be doing. And it has a way of snowballing and domino effect, but also it's cause and effect. And as we know, karma at its finest, what goes around comes around. And sooner or later, it may take decades. It may happen in an instant, but it does happen. And we're all paying the price, though. It's much deeper than that. Pay a very, very high price. So, but I just wanted to get that. And this is also my way of putting people on blast. They'll know who they are, and if they are listening to this podcast. But this also provides some protection. This also provides, if anybody in the upright, whether they be FBI, anybody, and upright law enforcement are listening, by all means, you know how to get a hold of me. And clearly I know that things have been said about me, probably false reports. I do know when I was on, and this is a while ago when I was in Omaha, that at that point in time, I was already, and you make it make sense. I'm sitting down in offices. I'm calling them directly, saying things and exposing things. So if I were involved in this, this would be a funny way of me, being involved in doing things, of going directly and sitting in their offices, which I have. I've sat in FBI's office. I've sat in ATF's office. But about this point in time, they have to all know that things are being said because they're being exposed. And that's the worst thing that can happen, is the truth to finally come to light, and as we know, what's done in the dark always has a tendency to come to the light. But, there is power in numbers. There always is, but you have to have people willing to see not only the short-term, the long-term effects. And is this the world you want to live in? Is it truly? And so the gang stalking, all the stuff I've been experiencing is just, sometimes it gets, and then, I just ignore it, and it's like, I know what you're doing, but I got to do my thing. And, I'm not going to let you take away. So much has already been taken away and destroyed. No, it's not allowed. It wasn't allowed to begin with. I just didn't realize what had taken place. But no, and not only once again, I'm speaking for myself, but others and the others who have already spoken out. Kudos for them, and kudos for the people in law enforcement and intelligence agencies that are on the upright. And I do emphasize that word, on the upright, that are doing the right thing. But I'm here to help them, and I'm here to help others too that are, willing to, put themselves out there. And yeah, quite a while ago, before I left to Omaha, I remember people asking me back here, hey, do you know so-and-so's involved? They literally contacted me and said, why don't you shut them down? And I said, yeah, I need a little help here. I'm not going to do it by myself. And I said, I cannot. And I can speak about things, but I'm tired of taking the hits and getting wrapped up. But I've been speaking about it. I've been still putting myself out there, but it's like, no, in order to create a better world, yes, we need to expose all of this, everything that's happening. But yeah, I went about filming and I didn't miss a beat. But I'm going, yeah, okay, this happened again. I know what they're doing. And it's just, I had to ignore, but I heard somebody say, no, you were being rude to me. And it was unexcusable. And if there were a problem or issue, they could have just said to me in privately, hey, there's something up here or something wrong with your phone. And it's like, no, somebody's messing with it. I know. But but it did kind of, and I put this out live. I do it live. So if you're listening to it, or you go back and listen to it, you'll see commotion there happening. And so it was like, okay, I'm just going to put it out there. It will be. And, but exposing it and putting it out there and putting people on blast, that is also my way of, once again, protecting myself, but also others, and for others that have the same story. But anyways, is there anything you want to ask me?
Yeah, okay. So after the show, typical day, what do you have going on after this? What happens after the show? Does anything weird happen after our show every day?
Yes.
Tell
Yes,
me,
it
tell me.
has. Well, I've had people call me. I've also had people call me from your neck of the woods using, and this was weird, they used a Nebraska number, but it was called, they were calling from, you have an area that I've never been to, Port Jefferson.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Somebody, but it was a Nebraska number that was covering it. And then it did it like 3 times that Port Jefferson rolled up, not Nebraska. So unfortunately with AI, with people hacking in, hackers, and definitely with AI and other technology, they can present themselves as one way, another numbers, they can use numbers, they can be across the world, or they can be right here and use different numbers. And I know that that's been going on, but yeah, no, I'll have people call. I try to just kind of do my thing, and I reroute what I'm doing, where I'm going. I try not to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And just kind of, but I'll get weird calls. I'll get hit psychically, which I've been getting hit every day, nonstop, forever. And this is not, people think that you're dark. And once again, I'm going to put out there that I do not practice anything dark, never have. But what happens is you get the people that are practicing coming after you because they're too, this is what they do. They get a bunch of people come after you, and it's, imagine that. After you, using, dark, whatever it is, and if they've used it all on me, and but feel coming, and I just, what I was return center, I check myself, my space, and send it back, and keep on sending it back. And sooner or later that add up. So you're in the right when you're doing the right thing and not participating in dirty things. Let me separate the people that practice like healing methods, but on the upright. most of this has got out of control of people who use things. And I need to remind people that this has been going on for decades, that they use this. And unfortunately, when other agencies in particular, they have created this, they have used people like myself to commit harm on others and use our abilities, but not me. I don't roll that way. And I know it's been stated that, she's a dark. No, unfortunately, there's a lot of that going on. No, once again, this is projection again, and they want to disguise it and otherwise, and they want to take the heat off of them and put it on you. And it's like, it's not going to work, because who I am and what I'm doing is going to speak for itself. Sooner or later, it will. And I'm not going to retaliate. I will put you out on blast. I will send it back to the center. I'll do a variety of things, but I will not participate in anything harmful. I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to participate in that. But yes, it does get sometimes it's gotten really bad. Sometimes I've had people follow me. Sometimes I've had people literally, the phone calls start rolling in, and they're not good. They're mad, and they'll disguise themselves. They also will come under fake profiles, which more than likely most of the time I have. So they use different, again, with AI and other things. It's not good. And I once, I think, talked about AI, and this has been a while ago, about the use of AI and the downside. It can be good as far as some money making, and some other things, but people don't realize in the long term that, and I believe I stated this a while ago about nuclear. It is associated with nuclear capabilities, but people really need to look at this. And if you're currently making money, I understand, I get it, but it is used for very nefarious, and it can be. And we need to be responsible. We need to know the effects of this and the end game and what's to come if it's used for other negative means. But yes, I have all sorts of things usually happen, and some of it's been going on daily for quite a while. But usually I get phone calls, and they try to block me. They try to block it so I can't go up there, as we know. And I put that, I talk about that to put it on blast, because there has to be some people, and I'm pretty sure there might be some copycats out there. And I also know with my family, obviously, that somebody's pretending to me and signing things that I'm not signing to get money, and a variety of other things. So forgery, yes, I am talking about. So I did have somebody contact me on Facebook that said, "Were you in United Kingdom?" They asked me.
Wow.
I'm going, who the hell are you? And I know that this is somebody not right. This is, family that I'm dealing with. So I don't know who you are, but, not. It's my copycat. If you're giving money, it belongs to me. If it's overseas and everywhere else, no, it's not me. And then I'm, of course, finding out I may have possibly another name that was really my name. Might have been else. We're seeing this. We're trying to get some answers to this.
Now you're breaking up. All right, we got to go. We're out of time anyway. My goodness. Thank you. How do we contact you? Tell us one more time.
Stacy Psychic DM on Instagram.com and Stacy Mongar on Facebook.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Enjoy the rest of your day. Talk soon to everyone. We'll be back right after.
This is the Global Podcast Network, where executives and professionals connect, share, and inspire. Stay tuned for the conversations that drive success.